Just when you think you know what a cactus is supposed to look like, this guy shows up. Let's talk about Epiphyllum. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan and this is Bane's Botanicals. Today we're going to be talking about Epiphyllum. Now this is a really unique plant. This is actually a fishbone cactus. The species name I believe is Epiphyllum angulager. I could be wrong about that, but I'll put it on the bottom. There's also another really famous cactus in this genus called an orchid cactus that gets these really big, beautiful flowers on it. But the leaves are just as long, but they are kind of flat. The margins are actually smooth, so they're not zigzag like this. And as I said, this is a cactus, so let's go ahead and do this. Here is the taxonomy information for Epiphyllum. And you see we are in the family Cactaceae, so this is a true cactus. So you may be saying, why is it shaped like this? Why does it look like that? Because there are no cacti that look like that in the desert, right? Well, this is actually a jungle cactus, and jungle cacti are epiphytic. They kind of live on other plants and trees, but they're not parasitic. So because of that, well, we'll get to the care in a minute, but there aren't a lot of jungle cacti as houseplants. I'm trying to think of another one other than, like, Schlumbergera is technically a jungle cactus, the holiday cactus. Easter cactus I think is the same way, but the genus name of Easter cactus is all over the place. Is it Ripsalidopsis? Is it Hattoria? It's gone through a few different changes. So there's another big one I'm missing. What is it? Do I have it? I mean, Ripsalis is a jungle cactus too, but I can't remember if Ripsalis is an actual cactus. Anyway, so it's kind of bizarre to think about something succulent being someplace where it rains so much, but like I said, since it is an epiphyte, it's not going to be getting a ton of water, so it does need to kind of hold on to some of that. But the weird thing, I think, for me is that since it is a cactus and the majority of cacti are desert dwelling, it makes me imagine what would have happened if the Rocky Mountains had never kind of, sprung up. Because that's the reason the American Southwest is a desert, because the Rocky Mountains shot up millions of years ago and it dried the air out, and a place that used to be very jungle-like became a dry desert. And that, over the period of eons, is what caused cacti. Like, they were something before and they had to adapt slowly to drier and drier air, and they grew these big succulent stems, and they had the spines that are modified leaves and everything. So yeah, they have shallow roots because they're trying to catch as much rain as possible, and usually it's a kind of a flash flood, so they try to adapt in that way. Anyway, it just makes me wonder if we wouldn't have more plants that look like this if that hadn't happened. Anyway, let's go and get to the care. So as far as light goes, these really need bright indirect light. They're not really a low light plant. It's good if you can put this kind of in a sunny window or under a grow light. Not direct sun, you don't want to burn the leaves, but it does need kind of brighter light. Medium light would probably be okay though. Just beware because it might get a little bit leggy. And they already tend to get a little bit leggy as they get bigger anyway. But look at how it's just really interesting how this thing kind of moves. What's also kind of interesting is that for the most part it's smooth, but there are certain parts like right here that have the thorns. And they're not really thorns, they're really more like hairs. Like you can touch them and it's not going to get you. But yeah, what else? Oh, water. Just water it like you would a succulent. So you can definitely let it dry out, but don't let it stay dry for too long because you'll start to see kind of some shriveling. You might start to see some browning and everything. The reason I say a succulent is because this is not as hardy as a typical cactus. Even though it is a cactus, it is not designed for that harsh, dry desert weather. It's still in the jungle where it doesn't get super, super hot. So you just want to treat this a little more like a succulent when you water. As far as soil goes, anything that's really fast draining, something like an epiphyte mix would be nice, where you have a little bit more like orchid bark or lava rock, anything that has good drainage. You could use just a desert like cactus mix too, with the extra sand or perlite, and that's going to provide the drainage it needs so that it doesn't get root rot or stem rot. Humidity, it doesn't really need humidity. It is a jungle cactus, so it will benefit from humidity, but it doesn't necessarily need it. And then fertilizing, I just fertilize this just like any other plant. You could maybe do a succulent fertilizer, like one specifically for that, but I just use regular houseplant fertilizer, diluted a little bit, of course, if it's synthetic. And I just do it bi-weekly during the growing season, and then not at all during the dormant season, late fall, winter, early spring. Just because these do kind of go through a bit of a dormancy phase when it gets cold and the light's a lot less. They kind of know that that's going on. So I think that's all I have about Epiphyllum. I know that this is kind of a throwback, because if you guys that are watching this live, we've been going alphabetical, but I did have a request for Epiphyllum, and I found this the other day for a pretty good price, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get it because I want to do Epiphyllum, so here it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for following and for subscribing and for your comments. Let me know if there's some other cool species of Epiphyllum or what your experience has been with them. I'm excited to hear that. So until the next video, I will see you guys very soon, and thank you.